My name is Tribin and I'm from Zoho Corp. I head developer experience for our low-code platform called as Zoho Creator. Now, developer experience is essentially a fancy way of saying that I am the bridge that connects market insights on what developers need with our product team. So I work with a lot of customers, I work with a lot of communities, I work with analysts, partners, etc. Right? And today I'm going to talk to you about how low-code platforms can enhance developer productivity. Right? This is our second year over here. So if I can have a quick raise of hands on people who attended a similar session last year. No one. Interesting. All right. And how many of you are hardcore developers? Awesome. Great. How many of you look down upon low-code platforms? No hard feelings. You do. Nice. All right. So I will try and convince you slightly that it might make your life better. But okay, so let me get into the meat of the things, right? This is going to be about 20-25 minutes. And we'll kind of try and take some questions in between or at the end of it. Let me just establish the developer landscape in general, right? Gartner did a survey last year where they came up with the priorities that developer community has. So the major playing field for the toys that they play with, right? You have apps, you have services, and you have your platforms, right? Now, while playing with this, what are the major priorities for them at a macro level? First thing that came through was managing techscape. There are too many technologies, too many tools, and low-code tools are one in addition to that. Managing all of this, keeping a tab of it is something that is a major priority for developers. The second part is cost efficiency, right? There are two angles to it. You have to improve cost in terms of what you're spending on your tech. You have to improve cost in terms of what it is delivering for your business. And the third aspect of it is security and compliance, which is probably the sharpest sword that has driven a lot of decisions that organizations do with respect to technology. On the other hand, IDC, which is another fairly large analyst firm, predicts that by 2025, which is by next year, there will be a shortage of 4 million developers, 40 lakh developers for the net requirement of application development or whatever IT related is required in here, right, globally. Which means that there is a disparity. There is a growing focus on certain things, but there aren't enough developers to do it. And solving this problem becomes a major part of IT strategy, right? Now, this disparity has also increased focus on tools that are enablers. And that's where I'm getting to, the tools of enablement, right? So we spoke about the macro focus in terms of developers' life, right? But in a day in a life, right, what are the major things that they do? There is a need to build applications. There is a need to extend applications where you have existing systems which have gaps in it according to what the market has evolved into, and that needs to be papered through or extended, right? You need to integrate different applications, you need to maintain them. 95% of effort goes into doing one or more of these on a day-to-day basis, right? Now, when you look at these, again, this is an abstract, but then ideally, all the activities that I mentioned over there is a function of complexity and skill and time. Now, there is a disparity between expectations from the developer community and the reality. So, the first expectation is for organizations, what they expect their IT to do is, or developers to do is, to serve everyone. You have a bunch of requests coming in, cater to everything because everything is important, right? The counterpoint or the reality of this is unlimited needs. At any given point in time, IT teams are struggling with the avalanche of requests that is coming their way, the backlog that they have to deal with. The second aspect from an expectation point of view is to do everything, but then the contrast point to that is the limited time that you have. So there is a need to prioritize. There is a need to understand what you are using or what kind of tool are you using for what kind of problems that you are trying to solve. right? And that brings into the picture this balance between abstraction and control. Now, high abstraction will enable you to do things faster because it is reducing the number of elements that you're trying to curate when you're developing something. And high control is on the other end of the spectrum, giving you granular micro control into everything that you're doing, but it takes more effort, time, skill, etc. And the IT strategy that we have seen, and I'll get to what Creator is and Zoho is and all those things. But then the strategy that we have seen working for a lot of companies or organizations is the fact that it is never a choice of either traditional development or low-code development. It is always a function of, in my strategy, where can I fit both these, because they have to coexist. One is not replacing the other, and at the same time give maximum value, right? So that raises the need for a spectrum of tools. Now, what do I mean by spectrum of tools? There is no code, low code, and pro code, and there is a space for each of it. No code is essentially for less complex and things that has to be whipped up very, very fast, right? So that is where the no code set of tools come into picture. Pro code can develop anything, just that you need expertise more than time, because if you are really, really good at development, then you can probably cut down the time to a large extent. But it is a function of skill and time, right? So pro code tools are there for probably complex requirements, but it needs more skill and time and specialists to deal with it. And low code kind of sits in between these two, where if you need smaller requirements or if you have smaller requirements, you can use it, but all requirements, all needs at that some point hits a glass ceiling, right? Whereby it is not able to scale. And I'm pretty sure both of you probably would have faced that at some point in time, where you're building something on low code and it's not scaling, which means that there needs to be an additional layer of support that is provided within the platform that you're choosing, which will enable you to go beyond that, right? And that is where Zoho's approach is coming to picture. Now, how many of you are familiar with Zoho as an organization? Many of you. How many of you are familiar with Zoho as a CRM organization versus a software vendor? All right. So the thing is, CRM is our poster child, or was our poster child for the longest time. That's one of the top 3 products that we sell. But we have more than 55 applications in our ecosystem. We have been around for about 28 years now. Completely bootstrapped and profitable. We don't have external investments, and that has designed the way we run our business, the way we build our platforms or solutions that we have. Last year we hit 100 million users across the Zoho ecosystem, and we have about 700K plus customers across the globe. Now, the 55 plus apps that I mentioned, right? That is across different functions. You want finance apps, we have that. You want sales apps, we have that. You want service as in desk support, etc., we have that, right? Now, and we have a developer suite, set of products that are designed to enable developers to build better. We are on in booth number 2 here, which is right on the left side of the entrance in the main building. But coming back to the developer products itself, right? This is spread across the spectrum that I mentioned. There is no-code tool over here. Creator is a no-code, low-code tool. Flow to a large extent is a no-code tool. There is a pro-code tool which we call as Catalyst, which is a serverless platform. We have RPA, test automation tool, and extension builder. So, bunch of products which can improve the quality of life of you as a developer. I'm not saying a professional developer, but if you want to build something, how can I enable you to build it better or faster, right? That brings me to the no-code, low-code platform, and that's what we are going to focus on here, which is Creator. Creator has been around for about 18 years, so it's not a new platform. We have been in the market since 2006. We are in the sixth version of the platform, sixth generation of the platform. And all of this has been built, these are some of the customers that we have, major brands. Now, the interesting thing about this is some of these are using, Big Basket, for example, is using Creator as a platform that is driven by their core development team. They have built an end-to-end vendor management app on this. So most of the backend function that you see from procurement to delivery to your doorstep is managed on an app built on Creator. So, and Briotics, for example, uses no-code as in business developers, business analysts to build the apps that they are using in their system. So what I mean to say is that different kinds of developers are using the platform with different context. And this is what we started out to achieve. Our vision with the Creator platform was to empower everyone to easily build powerful solutions. So what I mean by that is, for citizen developers who are from, let's say, a function like sales or marketing, you have no-code features. For business developers, BAs for example, a business analyst, for example, they have low-code features to dip into along with the no-code features. And for professional developers, there are a bunch of pro-developer-centric features which will enable them to, one, work better with the business teams, two, get into the platform and then scale it the way they want it, right? The app, the way they want it. This is the fundamental block of Creator. So the app that you have on the front end, you can design the UI, UX whichever way you want, and I'll give a couple of examples of that later. But you have forms for data collection, you have reports, different types of reports to interpret that particular data. You have workflows, process automation and stuff like that. And then you have Deluge, which is the proprietary coding language that we support across Zoho, which can be used in Creator as well, or which is basically the backbone of Creator. Again, it's a visual platform, so when you drag and drop in the environment, the coding is abstracted in the backend. This comes with three major things, right? One, abstracted codes. It also supports round tripping, so you can access it at any point in time. Like Karthikeyan sir was mentioning, assisted development is something that we provide in our platform as well. So we have integrated the platform with OpenAI, using which you will be able to prompt and generate apps that you want. Again, like I'll go back to what he mentioned, you will probably be able to create an app which is 70-80% there if you are really good at prompting. But then the thing is, you can always go into the backend and enhance it further to the extent that you want it to be built into. And finally, round tripping, again, that is in line with what I was mentioning. Everything that is created using the GUI, you have access to those codes. You can play around with it. You can get into the IDE and tweak it up based on how you want it to function. Now, in the next 10 minutes, I will try and touch upon certain features that are relevant or more relevant to a professional developer than a citizen developer or a techno-functional consultant, right? First one is multi-experience development. When you build an app on the Creator platform, it's all web app that you're building. The builder is on web, but when you're building it, you automatically generate an Android, a native Android and iOS app along with the web app, which can be customized. Essentially, you are cutting down on the effort that you put into building separate apps for separate platforms. The next part is future-proofing tech. What do I mean by that? AI, for example, there is a lot of relevance for AI in an application, right? We have abstracted the complexity behind it and added it into the builder per se. So there is a drag and drop option called as AI fields, which you can curate for adding features like prediction building or keyword extraction or sentiment analysis to your application. Again, no coding whatsoever involved. You will be able to configure it right from the front end of the application or the builder. You can also build custom AI modelers. You want to create your own AI models, you will be able to push data into the application, train your own model, and then use it in the application. AR, augmented reality, very highly used in education, manufacturing, etc. And it's a microservice that we have added to the platform. Again, once you add it, the models are added, you will be able to pull it to your application, any application that you are building within the platform. It supports both marker-based and markerless models. On the UI front, we provide something called as canvas, which are different layouts. This is more on the no-code set of templates. You will be able to curate it and etc. But we have also enabled integration with Figma. So whatever you're designing in Figma, you will be able to import it as a widget inside the application and put that on top of the application that you're building. Again, Figma is not something that the citizen developers will be using, but very useful when they are trying to build it along with the pro development team. On the process automation side, again, all the apps that are typically built on a platform like Creator, there is a lot of process dependency on it. You're trying to digitize certain processes. So we provide a visual builder which we call as a blueprint to establish this whole process and incorporate that into the application. This is on one side, right? But you also need, as a developer, you would also need to know, is this a process the right way to go about it? Where are the bottlenecks? What is the analytics behind it? That can also be provided within the application. What it essentially helps you to do is, when you're running a process for, let's say, a considerable amount of time, you will be able to understand where the bottlenecks are and optimize it so that your business is performing better. On the integration front, there are about 900 plus pre-built connectors that we provide, which will enable you to connect your application. Now that can be an existing application within your system, a legacy application or whatever it is, with almost all popular apps which exist, or cloud-based apps which an organization might be using. Again, plug and play connections, but if not for this, you can also build custom connectors if it's not available in the library. Again, this is an example of how the UI works when you're trying to connect it. Some of the developer first features that we have, IDE that I mentioned and Deluge that I mentioned, right? So Deluge is a proprietary language that we support or we use across the whole of Zoho for all Zoho products. So if you want to extend your capabilities on any of the Zoho products, Deluge will come in handy. Creator runs on Deluge to a large extent. So if you understand, and it's very much like JavaScript in general. So it's not like there is a very tall order for you to scale up with respect to the language in itself. But it's assisted development. So you have canned code blocks which you can use to quickly tweak the application that you're trying to work through. Besides that, we also support JavaScript and Node.js for any customization that you need to do. And we are also working on incorporating Python very soon. So that is also coming very soon. On the deployment front, you can deploy it wherever you want, public cloud, private cloud, or on-premise. You can also choose different aspects of an application that you want to deploy in certain environments. Again, on the testing front, this was a very important feature for us because there are different personas of developers building the application. You want to enable checks and balances so that the IT persona and the business persona is working together on it. So the environment comes in handy over there where they collaborate very closely. They try and figure out if whatever changes are being made, irrespective of who the developer is, and going live is actually not breaking the system and things like that. So we provide different environments, and then typically in large use cases, we see professional developers or the IT team taking a call on taking this particular changes live into the live mode. Audit trail, whoever is doing whatever, everything is tracked. Again, from a compliance perspective, it's very, very important. And finally, we have custom security policies that you can define depending upon your organization's policies for the whole platform as such, for catering to different developer personas. That was a quick run through of this, but then if there are three things that I want you to take away from this session, it is one, it helps improve developer productivity and across different personas, that is, but then you can work together with the business, or you can make the business and IT teams work together, improve both their productivity and democratize the whole thing that we are trying to build, right? The whole application development process. That's one. The second one is the solutions are scalable. Fortune 500 companies are using it to run their core mission critical applications. And there is a way to go about the development and have both low code platforms as well as pro code platforms work together to build solutions that benefits the organization. And finally, the new gen features or advanced features, which will have a very, very broad, very, very tall learning curve in terms of implementation. We at a platform level abstract that and add to the platform so that it can be incorporated into the application that you're building. So you are basically skipping that learning curve and able to scale your application from that perspective much faster. Again, going back into the vision, right? Empowering everyone to build powerful solutions is what we are going after. Powerful applications is what we are going after. And that includes the three personas that I mentioned earlier. We have more coming in terms of sessions. We have 2 more sessions from Zoho. Tomorrow at 9:45 a.m. in the main hall, we have our Director of Product Management sharing Zoho's approach to owning the entire tech stack that we have. And tomorrow afternoon, we have another session on Catalyst, on how the serverless platform can enable you to build or improve productivity and build applications faster in a pro code setup. That's it, folks, from my side. All right, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much.